Welcome to the unabridged Titan Pro Metal Garden Shed build video. Aside from the tools included, you will also need a drill, a screwdriver and a mallet. To start, you'll be assembling the rear wall panel. Begin by clipping the two lengths of frame together. You may want to use the mallet to gently tap the clip into place. Then this long length will need to be installed onto the wall panel. This can be done by either sliding the frame along the top of the wall panel or by pushing the frame straight down on top of the wall panel. Repeat for the other edge. This process is the same for the left and right walls. Be sure to follow the instruction manual with any measurements and be aware of which way around the frame needs to go in respect to the wall panel, as highlighted in the video. Drill the fixing holes on each panel as instructed. For the roof, this goes together very similarly to the other wall panels, except now we add corner clips and brace bars. The corner clips act very similarly to the straight clips. It can be helpful to install this onto the short side frame first, and then install that onto the main panel. Again, secure these in place by drilling the holes and installing the screws. Using the holes provided, rivet in place the hinge plates to the outer frame. Now for the brace bars. Ensure the bars are in the correct position by following the measurements provided in the instruction manual. Once in place, drill through the pre-drilled holes in the bars through the panel. Secure the bars to the panel by installing the screws from the outside. To secure the hinge plate for the main panel, first drill holes through the panel that line up with the holes on the hinge plate. When riveting the plate to the panel, you may want to either clamp it or have someone else hold the plate to the panel to make sure the rivet is tight. Finally, for the roof, drill holes through the frame clip and the roof panel and rivet them all tightly together. Do this on either end of the clip and on both sides. For the front wall, again, construct the long frame lengths and combine these with the end panels and the door frame bars. Then reinforce this with the doorway covers and drill appropriate holes and screw it all together securely. One of the drawbacks to mass manufacturing is sometimes the tolerances are not perfect, and in this case, some of the pre-drilled holes do not line up correctly. If you find this is the case, then simply use the screw to force its way through the material and draw the two parts together. Try to make this as tight as possible to keep the head of the screw as flat as it can be. For the side doorway frame covers, drill and rivet these to the main frame, excluding the top outer hole for now. This will be used later in the build.
We interrupt this program for an important public message. To ensure the doors meet properly in the middle when shut, you must make sure that the frames are in the correct position. Simply persuade the doorway frame to ensure there is no gap at the top or bottom. This message has been brought to you by Titan Pro. Thank you for watching.
Let's get back to the install and the assembly of the doors. The door frames and panels assemble the same way as the other panels have. These are secured together by drilling holes and using the screws provided. To create the door braces, you need to manipulate the rubber cap over the end of the frame bar. Squash the cap so that it will fit the profile of the bar and the tongue of the bar goes through the hole in the cap. Locate the bars using the holes in the tongues and line them up to the holes pre-drilled into the door frames. Slide the tongue under the frame for a snug fit. Once in place, secure with the screws provided. To attach the hinges, first drill through the panel material behind the pre-drilled holes in the frame, and then rivet the hinges through these holes. When installing the spring bolts to the slave door, please follow the measurements as outlined in the manual. This will then give the correct clearance required at the top and bottom of the door. These are then drilled and screwed into place. The second door is put together the same as the first, except there are no spring bolts to this door. The only detail to be careful of is that the hole for the door handle is on the opposite side from the holes for the hinges. The walls are then joined together using flat corner clips. Once two of the panels are lined up together, the top corner clip can be joined in place and then drilled and secured with the screws. The bottom flat corner clip can be placed under the frame. Once both panels are lined up, then push the frame into the clip to get them to secure together. Again, drill and screw these together to ensure rigidity. The front panel, again, attaches in the same way. Once the frame is aligned, drill and screw the panel corners together. Use a minimum of 2 screws on each corner. Now moving on to the lid hinge knuckles. Please note there are 2 pre-drilled holes in this location. Only one of these is designed for the hinges. In the hole closest to the rear wall, install a screw on its own to hold the frame to the panel. This reinforces the frame near the hinge point. Fix the hinge in place with the other available hole, and then drill a new hole for the final screw to hold the hinge knuckle in place. For the installation of the lid, we'll start by attaching the hinges to the lid and the frame, and then installing the support rods. Lift the lid on top of the frame and line it up so that the lid and the frame match. The hinges towards the outside should sit next to the corner clips. The 2 inner hinges should be spaced evenly from the centre of the panel. With the lid and frame now connected, lift the lid and install the support rods. You may want someone to help lift the lid for this. The support rods simply snap onto the hinge knuckles. Following the instruction manual, check the frame to make sure it is square. For those of you who have the bolt down kit, now is the opportunity to install this. Mark and drill your positions for the floor fixings into your surface material. To install the doors, you may need someone to help you support the doors while they are being secured in place. To ensure the correct gap between the bottom of the door and the frame, grab yourself a piece of thick card and lay this on the frame and balance the door on top. Slide the door up the frame and mark the outline of the hinge on the frame. You can then use this outline to mark the holes for the hinges, which then need to be drilled, and rivet the door in place. Repeat this process exactly for the other door. Install the spring bolt retainers by marking the hole locations and then drilling and screwing them into place. Next, install the outer hardware, starting with the bolt box. This can be installed at any height to suit, but is recommended as close to the middle of the doors for maximum effectiveness. Mark the hole location, drill, and then rivet the plates into place. Now the main handle. This comes apart as per the instruction manual. Locate the small tabs on the lock with the pre-cut out shape in the door panel. Secure this in place using the lock washer and the nut provided, and ensure they are tightened fully. Install the turnstop washer. This can be orientated in different ways to allow the handle to be set up in any preference. Ensure the catch is sat on the spindle properly and tighten the bolt to secure in place. The lid hardware needs to be installed on each end of the shed. Start by positioning the blank plates, using the top hole in the doorway frame that was not used earlier. Make the plate as square to the frame as possible, and slide this between the frame and the panel for the best fit. Mark and drill through the plate, where you will then be riveting the plate to the shed. To get the correct positioning of the lock, start by offering up the lock with the catch over it, up to the newly installed plate. Try to centralize the catch with a flat section of metal on the lid panel and mark the positions of the holes. Once these are drilled out, the catch can be riveted to the lid. With the catch in place, line up the lock so that it sits against the plate and rests easily on the catch. Carefully moving the catch out of the way, mark the holes on the lock that need to be drilled. Once the holes are made, offer up the lock and then rivet into place. Repeat this process for the other side. For the steel floor kit, start by bending the ends of the floor brace bars. With this done, installing the bars closest to the walls. Slot these in between the wall panel and the bottom frame, making sure that they are spaced the correct distance away from the wall. The remaining 8 bars are then spaced roughly evenly between the 2 end bars, hooking into the rear wall and then placing the still open end on top of the doorway. Finally, with the brace bars in place, the floor panels can be laid on top. These should hook over the brace bars and overlap each other to create a solid floor. Once you are happy with the positions of the floor panels, drill through each panel into the brace bars and then secure these in place with screws.
Videos on our website at www.titan-pro.co.uk and look for the How-To Videos section on the right. If you need to ask something not covered in a video, then the Titan Pro team are always here to help through our dedicated tech support email address, which is techsupport@titan-pro.co.uk.